It was a frigid December morning in Upper Merion Township, Pennsylvania. The neighborhood just outside Philadelphia was quiet, its streets lined with houses draped in holiday decorations. Inside one of those homes, 49-year-old Ellen Robb was preparing for Christmas. It should have been a season filled with laughter, love, and family. Instead, it became the scene of a grisly homicide. At 1:30 p.m., police were called to the Robb residence. What they found inside was a crime so violent, so personal, that even seasoned investigators struggled to comprehend it. Ellen's body lay in the kitchen, surrounded by the remnants of her unfinished holiday preparations. The injuries were so severe that first responders initially believed she had been shot at close range. But there were no gunshot wounds, only blunt force trauma, inflicted with such force that the weapon left nearly no recognizable features. The house had been ransacked. Broken objects, overturned furniture, and open drawers painted the picture of a robbery gone wrong. But there was something off. There were no signs of forced entry. Nothing valuable had been taken. And then there was the question of timing. Ellen was attacked in broad daylight, in the safety of her own home. The crime sent shockwaves through the quiet community. But for those who knew Ellen and her husband, Rafael Robb, the shock wasn't that she had been murdered. The real shock was that it had taken this long. To the outside world, Rafael and Ellen Robb had a picture-perfect life. He was a brilliant economist, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania with a sharp mind and a promising career. She was a stay-at-home mother, devoted to raising their daughter Olivia. They had a spacious home in a wealthy neighborhood, financial stability, and a seemingly enviable life. But those closest to Ellen knew the truth. For years, she had been trapped in a marriage ruled by control and fear. Rafael Robb wasn't just an intelligent man, he was calculating, manipulative, and emotionally abusive. He belittled Ellen in public, berated her in private, and exerted dominance over every aspect of her life. Friends recalled how Ellen, once vibrant and full of life, had become increasingly withdrawn over the years. She had endured his anger in silence, protecting their daughter from the full extent of their toxic relationship. But by December 2006, she had reached a breaking point. Ellen had secretly met with a divorce attorney. She was ready to leave, to take Olivia and start over. But Rafael Robb wasn't about to let that happen. Rafael Robb wasn't just a professor, he was an expert in game theory, a mathematical discipline focused on strategic decision-making and calculated risks. It was his specialty, predicting human behavior, controlling outcomes, anticipating moves before they were made. And when Ellen told him she was leaving, he made his move. According to colleagues, Rafael was brilliant but arrogant, prone to condescension and quick to anger. His intelligence didn't make him immune to emotional outbursts. It made him more dangerous. He saw the world through a cold, calculated lens. If something stood in the way of his desires, he found a way to remove it. When Ellen told him she was leaving, he didn't beg. He didn't plead. He didn't try to convince her to stay. Instead, he made sure she never left. December 22, 2006. Ellen was in the kitchen wrapping Christmas presents. The morning had been quiet, uneventful. But then Rafael entered the room. What started as an argument quickly escalated. Words became shouts, shouts became violence. Investigators believe he grabbed a metal exercise bar, a heavy, blunt object with enough force to cause catastrophic injuries. He struck her again and again, long after she was defenseless. The blows were not in a fit of uncontrollable rage. They were deliberate, ruthless. By the time it was over, Ellen was unrecognizable. Rafael didn't call for help. He didn't check if she was still breathing. Instead, he began staging the crime scene. He turned over furniture, opened drawers, broke objects, creating the illusion of a burglary gone wrong. Then he left the house. At 1:30 p.m., he made the call. "There's been a break-in. My wife, she's hurt." By the time police arrived, the house was in chaos. But there was one major problem. It was too neat. Nothing was missing. The doors weren't forced open. The crime was staged, but not well enough to fool investigators. And there was one more problem for Rafael: blood. Forensic analysis revealed that the pattern of blood spatter didn't match Rafael's story. There were no signs of a struggle, no indication that an outsider had entered the home. The positioning of Ellen's body, the force of the injuries, everything pointed to one conclusion. This wasn't a robbery. This was an execution. Rafael Robb's carefully planned crime unraveled. Just days later, he was arrested. The evidence was overwhelming, yet Robb insisted he had only lost control in a moment of rage. But prosecutors weren't convinced. The brutality, the staged crime scene, the years of control over Ellen, they painted a much darker picture. But in a controversial plea deal, Rafael Robb was not convicted of first-degree murder. Instead, he pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, a charge that carried a maximum sentence of 10 years. Rafael Robb served the full 10 years. He walked free in 2017. But for Ellen's family, the fight for justice wasn't over. In 2014, a jury awarded Ellen's estate $124 million in damages in a wrongful death lawsuit. Whether the family will ever see that money remains uncertain. Today, Olivia Robb, their daughter, carries the weight of her mother's memory. She has since become an advocate for victims of domestic violence, ensuring that her mother's story is never forgotten. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. Reach out to local support organizations or the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Ellen Robb didn't get the chance to start over, but for countless others, it's not too late. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more gripping true crime stories. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are not alone.